The BBC apologizing to President Trump in the face of a $1 billion legal threat. The Brits admitted they slapped together two parts of his Jan 6 speech, more than 50 minutes apart, in a way that made it appear he was advocating violence.
We're going to walk down to the Capitol, and I'll be there with you, and we fight. We fight like hell. And if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore. We're going to walk down to the Capitol, and we're going to cheer on our brave senators and congressmen and women. And we're probably not going to be cheering so much for some of them.
But the broadcaster is rejecting Trump's billion-dollar demand for damages, saying this, quote, "While the BBC sincerely regrets the manner in which the video clip was edited, we strongly disagree there's a basis for a defamation claim." Do you strongly disagree there's a basis?
Wait, I strongly agree there is a basis for defamation. This was clearly actual malice, at a minimum, reckless disregard. And I want to go back to something that let's talk about this legally speaking. The appropriate remedy for a massive reputational hit, potential swaying or material impact on an election is not an apology. So President Trump is absolutely correct that here, the defamation, the injury to his reputation, the material impact to the election, that is so clear. They spliced together two statements 54 minutes apart. BBC argues that's just a bad edit. It was unintentional. But the material message of the president's speech was the peaceful and patriotic, people's voices be made heard peacefully and patriotic. BBC made it as if his entire conclusion, the entire thesis, was one of violence. So absolutely the distortion is material and real. And if they think they're going to get away with simply an apology, they won't. They have better arguments about venue and jurisdiction than they do about the malice. But I hope to God that President Trump does not accept a settlement from them, not 1 cent at this stage, because I want it to go to trial, because I want BBC to stand corrected for this horrific editing that they've done to multiple people.
Can I ask her a quick question?
No, that's not how the show works.
It's your segment, but I have a question.
If you want to.
They say, and like the point about the material damage to his campaign, and the BBC is saying that is not true, and offering as evidence, they say the fact that he won the presidential election makes that moot. Like, they could not have caused him any reputational damage because he won the election. Does that play like legally?
Well, that harm is not an on-off switch. So there's absolutely reputational harm. And we go through this a lot with these public figures. That's why there's the actual malice standard, that the spectrum is very real, very real. And you cannot in any way claim that President Trump was not harmed reputationally. We talk about the internet, the global wild spreading all through Australia and BBC there from their editing. I'm sorry, Greg.
I can see Greg salivating, but we're not going to you, Greg.
Oh, no.
We're going to the other lawyer. Other lawyer. Do you think the BBC will be paying for the Trump Presidential Library?
Oh, no, it'll get sorted out, and I'm not convinced the president won't settle. The president has settled most of these cases, and he's made it clear the monetary thing is his focus. I haven't looked at it closely enough to understand. I think that Emily outlined correctly the legal standard. It's unclear to me if someone is giving a singular speech and you splice up in a singular speech. If you splice up several speeches they did, I don't know, but I think that my recollection in law school, there's a standard around it, but you're smarter than me. You would know that. Two things, politicians, especially presidents, no one likes criticism. And no one likes unfair criticism like this. In the BBC, the apology may not be enough. I think there's probably an in-between between the apology and a billion. And somebody will like to figure that out.
A wide gap. Greg.
Well, this wasn't criticism, it was deception, and they wouldn't be apologizing if they hadn't been caught. Mm-hmm. So we should actually, let's go over what the damage was done. He won the presidency. That's not what it's about. They deliberately created a narrative that Trump led an insurrection that was amplified repetitively all throughout the world. It didn't just tar Trump, but it tarred all of his supporters, and it led to a branding. Fascist, authoritarian, Nazi, Hitler, which then put targets on people's backs, which made them more likely to be shot or murdered, whether it be Trump or Charlie Kirk. This was no innocent mistake. This network must be crushed. I want to live in a world where BBC only stands for something on an adult-friendly site. I love how, Stelter complains about how it's unfair. You're holding these networks to a higher standard. Well, duh. They elevated themselves to a higher standard. We don't walk around lying repeatedly so the lies match our narratives. We don't pretend to be perfect. The legacy media is dead. All that's missing is the toe tag. Last but not least,
What's the toe tag?
Toe tag?
Like autopsy,
Yeah,
like
It's a game I play.
on a dead person.
All right.
Oh, okay.
You casual anti-Trumpers need to ask yourself this. If Trump was as bad as everybody tells you, why do they have to make stuff up? Why do they have to doctor or edit reality to fit their narrative? Simple question.
Simple question, simple answer. But
I'm
I
going to
they
miss
don't have the goods.
BBC World Weather.
You
when they
are?
go away. Have you ever seen BBC World Weather? It's amazing.
Not
No.
as good as Fox weather.
It's like in
I don't.
Canada today, it's going to be cold. Over here in the Middle East, it's going to be more mild. It's going
Yeah.
to be in the 50s,
You-
60s.
you wanna
Over
get-
here in Latin America, it's like amazing.
You want to get really disgusted with the BBC? Look at their trans coverage, where they actually said that breast milk from men claiming to be women was every bit as nutritious for babies as biological women's breast milk. What kind of mind, what kind of mentality, ideology, whatever it's a sickness to actually push that.
When Harold was lactating, I found his breast milk delicious and nutritious.
You said you wouldn't tell anybody.
Coming up next, J.D. Vance outlines how Trump will clean up Joe Biden's affordability crisis. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.